Hey, this is my last day of quarantine and I'm actually officially going back home. Let's go. What's up? It's the Culture Detective here, investigating your favorite movies. And today I'm going to be doing a movie review on Incantation, or in Taiwanese Mandarin, Zhou, by the writer-director Kevin Ko or Ke Mengrong. So, Incantation is a Taiwanese horror film that came out this year and it is released on Netflix, and then suddenly, for some reason, a lot of people are talking about it. So of course, I have to watch it. But watching this movie before I even played this movie, I already thought to myself, damn, somebody else has already beat me to it. So I hate to spoil it to you guys, but one of my dream projects, one of my passion projects, is to make a Chinese themed horror film, or more precisely, a Chinese culture themed horror film set in Hong Kong. But it appears that somebody else has already beat me to it, even though the movie is set in Taiwan. But the Chinese cultural themed horror, I've always wanted to be at the forefront of that, but apparently not. Somebody else is already pioneering it. So, anyways, Incantation is a found footage horror film about a mom, a mother, whose name is Li Nan, and she has a daughter. But the daughter is cursed because 6 years ago, the woman and a couple other guys went to this strange village on top of the mountains, and this village worships this very strange, mysterious deity, and then there's this really strange, mysterious tunnel. They entered it, and it's a cursed tunnel, and now they are cursed. And her children are cursed. Her child is cursed, so her daughter is cursed, and now everything's cursed, and it's super scary. Now, first of all, this movie is far from perfect. There are things about this movie that I'm not 100% a fan of. Now, this movie is a found footage film, a la the Blair Witch Project. And I'm not a huge fan of found footage movies because obviously it sacrifices, good looking visuals and good editing for the sake of the story. But you know what? It's still a creative style, I guess. And it is quite inconsistent because this movie is usually the video camera, but occasionally it would jump onto a computer screen or a phone screen or even a CCTV security footage camera. So it is not very consistent, and sometimes when it jumps to a phone screen, it goes from widescreen to vertical. And watching a movie on vertical is not very great. And the worst part about this found footage idea is that for every single scene, they have to find an excuse for filming in the story for one of the characters to literally hold the camera. So sometimes they would say, oh, we're filming because this is for a YouTube video, we're the Ghostbusters. And then sometimes we would be filming the child, the daughter character, Dodo, because it's a birthday video, it's like a diary video thing. And then there are scenes where somebody's clearly suffering, like people are bleeding and things are going weird. Why are you still filming? Why are you still filming? The scene doesn't explain it, and it doesn't. I guess for an average moviegoer, they wouldn't really question that, but it just doesn't really logically work, especially at the end where the main character has to set down the camera, but then we have another few extra shots of the main character and whatever she's looking at. Who filmed those shots then? Alright, anyways, I guess I also had to say that this movie is not the most original thing ever. One of the death scenes in this movie, where one of the characters slammed their heads onto the phone screen, or onto their laptop screen, is basically a reference to that very famous YouTube video, Girl Goes Psycho During Makeup, which a lot of other movies have also taken inspiration from. We have writing the Brahmic script all over the face and body, and ears being cut off. That immediately reminds me of Hoichi the Earless off of Kwaidan, which is a Japanese horror film that I've recently talked about and reviewed. And also, I may go so far as to say that the family themes of this movie is inspired by Hereditary, and the cult in the middle of nowhere on some mountain is kind of inspired by Midsommar, maybe. And I may even go so far as to say that some of the Buddhist-inspired horror in this film is inspired by the cult classic Hong Kong horror film, The Boxer's Omen. So obviously, this thing is not without its influences and inspirations. Aside from that, there are also a few cheesy moments here and there, not enough to bog the enjoyment of this movie down, but definitely there are. There are some pretty stupid characters. Like, you went to this village, people are bleeding, okay, something's wrong. Why are you still heading for the cursed tunnel? You should just turn away, just turn around, just go back home. What are you doing? You're stupid. You're stupid. So watching those scenes are actually pretty frustrating because the characters are pretty stupid. Even if they don't believe in these religions, even if they don't believe in these superstitions, destroying somebody's stuff and disrespecting their religion is not good. And also one of the scenes in this movie where the psychologist basically tells the main character, maybe you're crazy, maybe you're crazy. That one is a little bit cheesy and forced. And this movie isn't that scary. That being said though, this is definitely one of the scarier horror films I've seen. But there isn't a single scene in this movie that made me go, oh my god, I can't watch it. I need to exit full screen. I can't. I watched it all alone. I turned off all the lights late at night at 11 p.m. And there are some scenes that are legitimately scary for me, but overall it's not that scary or anything. But when the scenes are scary, they are really scary. There are a few very effective jump scares, especially the temple jump scare. The last time they went to the temple, and there's a woman who's like scratching the back of her head and blood is gushing down. That is the scariest moment in the movie, hands down, and I really like that jump scare. The build up to that is masterful. I really enjoy it. And at least I could give this movie the credit that there is a versatility of scares, because we go all the way from gory, gross out scares to jump scares to lingering scares to atmospheric scares. We have a variety of scares in this movie, which is really nice. Now, let's go on to the pros. The reason why I like this movie, actually. First of all, I like that this is almost like an interactional video, especially in the beginning where the main character says to the camera, this symbol, remember it? Okay, this chant, remember it. Say it with me. 3, 2, 1, say it with me. And then at the end of the movie, this chant is repeated again, and after the plot twist, it is revealed that it means something else, so it has that extra impact, and it feels like an interactional video, and I really like that. And the design of this movie is easily the best part about the movie. The best element is the design. I think the design of the Buddha is really cool, because Buddhas are not supposed to look scary. They're supposed to look very peaceful. So to make it rusty and eccentric and weird with multiple hands and arms, make it a lot scarier. But I think the highlight of the movie is the cursed tunnel. I really like it. It's probably inspired by like the Paris catacombs or something. But the idea that there's something really dark and horrifying at the end of this tunnel, and you keep going and going and going, and it gets worse and worse and worse. I really like it. I really like this concept. And then we have the Buddha itself, the ultimate evil. And there's the face, and I'm not going to spoil anything, but the face of the Buddha is so well designed because it represents the core of all evil in this film. And it, without spoiling much, it looks like a Tool album cover, so that's scary. And I like the idea. Making Buddhism scary is actually really difficult because Buddhism is probably the least horrifying religion of all times. It is a religion that really focuses on peace of mind and not feeling fear or materialistic happiness or anger or sadness or anything. It's very much a peaceful religion, so making Buddhism scary is honestly not an easy feat. And I really like that this movie captures the mystique and the urban legend vibe surrounding these cults that are floating around the sinosphere. I guess one of the reasons why this movie is kind of unsettling is because it's actually based on a true story that happened 17 years ago at Kaohsiung. And that's really cool because Chinese religion is a mess, or sinosphere. Not just China Chinese, but the sinosphere itself. You know, China, Taiwan, Hong Kong, Macau, even Malaysia and Singapore, even bits of Vietnam and Thailand. Sinosphere. Religion works very differently here than, say, in the USA. In the USA, you have things like Mormonism and Jehovah's Witness, and they're all born from Christianity. So at least you know that Christianity is almost like the backbone of it all. But in the Sinosphere, it's a total mess. I mean, you have Buddhism and Taoism, but they are... Buddhism is a religion, but it's also kind of a mess. Taoism is barely a religion, and Confucianism isn't even a religion. So at the end of the day, religion-wise, Sinosphere is a mess because you get all these cults and all these religious sects popping up left and right, and you don't really know what's going on. There are so many cults. There are probably more cults than there are religions in the Sinosphere. So I really like the mystique that this movie captures about these cults. And I guess my ultimate takeaway from this film is that, wow, Taiwanese cinema has a future. Because if the USA doesn't work out for me, I may as well just move to Taiwan. I may as well just move to Taipei or something. So there is that. But again, god damn it, somebody else has beat me to it when it comes to making a Chinese culture themed horror movie that gets popular on Netflix. I kind of wanted to do that, but obviously I'm not going to be the only one who wants to do that. A lot of people are probably going to follow suit, and that's okay. I'm going to join the trend. Yeah, not a bad movie. I actually ended up kind of liking it. Feeling a decent 7 out of 10 on Zhou, or Incantation. So, have you watched Incantation? From 1 to 10, how much did you rate it? Like it, and subscribe if you want more. And thanks for watching.